Boom, hello and welcome to the Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Byron Rogers. This podcast is dedicated to the executive protection practitioner, the private security professional. In this podcast, we're going to talk about the mental, emotional, psychological, physiological fitness that goes into being an efficient and effective executive protection agent. Whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're a mom that's looking at how to protect her children, or a father that's focused on how to protect his family, I believe this podcast has something for all of you. We might even get into some tales from the crypts of true Hollywood stories from time to time. I'm doing this podcast because I feel the reality of this job is simple. If you really want to be good at executive protection, it's more than just a job. It really is a lifestyle. And those of you who've been in the game for any serious amount of time, you already know what I'm saying is true. So if that sounds interesting to you, enjoy the show. Out. And if you haven't already, get your tickets for the Protector Symposium. The first annual Protector Symposium is taking place in Riverside, California, November 15th and 16th. We've got an all-star lineup of seriously elite trainers. Joseph Badu, Ed Caldron, and Mike Pannone are all going to be there teaching and instructing us on, well, our common goal, how to make good people more dangerous. So no matter what your background is, you're going to learn skills around the one unifying principle of protection. Get your tickets. Spots are going quickly. And remember, you're going to get over $100 worth of value back in different things that you're going to get from our sponsors with your purchase of a ticket. Check the website out, Byron Rogers Motivation, for ticket information and to learn more. Out. Boom. Hey, what's up, you guys? Byron Rogers here for another episode of EPL EDC, right? We're going through EDC with everybody, and I've got Ed Caldron with me once again, man. What's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. You caught me at a, packing, basically. So it's a pretty good time to kind of talk about some of this stuff. I'm about to do a month-long trip again. And it's a weird packing for different type of environments and kind of having everything that I need for each type day. So awesome.
Sounds like a perfect EDC moment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's such a thing. Anyways, man, real quick for everybody. Real quick background for those who don't know who you are, man.
I worked down in Mexico for a bit over a decade, doing counter narcotics, counter organized crime type work. I also did a lot of close protection work. Actually was in charge of protecting a few high level politicians in Mexico, including state governor, and did all of that in northern Mexico. As a Mexican, there's a lot of people say, you have pretty good English. You're probably from California. I am not from California. I was born in Tijuana, Mexico. And but that is behind me. For a lot of reasons, I had to leave that job behind. And currently I own my own trading company. And I write for a few publications like Recoil, Off Grid, and Skill Set. So check that out if you can. And I have my own Instagram page and Facebook page that has a major weird cult following that I still can't understand, but awesome. And I do training all over the country. Specifically, I train people how to move in places where it's not necessarily a friendly environment. How to have options on hand if you can't have what you regularly carry out there in your hometown. I do this for the government as well. I've done this type of training for a few federal agencies, specialized military agencies. So I teach people how to get out of handcuffs, zip ties. That's my thing.
Awesome, man. Dude, the reason you have a cult following on the IG, at least I know, is because, bro, like I'm scrolling. I said this last, I don't care. I'm scrolling through my IG and then I'll see something you post and it's like reality. It's like, it's like it pops that little like nice bubble of things. And I always appreciate that. Or it's like you're like my Mexican MacGyver plug, man.
Every now and then I get every now and then I get a lot of people saying, that I'm fear mongering or that I'm, yeah, I know, or that that I'm showing skill sets that you really don't need. How many of you are going to get abducted, by the cartels or something like that. And it's one of those things where I do these classes all over the country, and the amount of resonance it has with different people in different ways is just mind blowing to me. I mean, from a school teacher that recently went to one of the counter custody classes and didn't get out of restraints, not placed on her wrists, but she was at a concert venue, and it started getting pretty rowdy outside of the U.S. And the only thing separating her from being outside of that situation was a couple of zip ties that were holding a fence together. Mm-hmm. So she whipped out her Kevlar cord necklace that I taught her how to make, mm-hmm. and cut that fence open. And everybody around her looked at her like, where did you learn that?
Right. High speed, man.
And I think, even if you can get one thing out of some of this training or out of my Instagram account, because I give a lot of the stuff for free.
Yep.
If you can get one thing that helps you out in a single way, it's worth it. That's the main thing. Critics be damned and alarmist and getting banned off Instagram. If I can help somebody out, that's good enough for me.
No, that's awesome, dude. I agree 100%. You do give a lot of it away for free on there. And I'm with you, bro. I'm just waiting for us to get banned from Instagram, dude. He's the first guy I hit up when I get stuff banned. I'm like, yo, they hassling you? Like, did they hit you up, man? Usually they have.
Last thing that got taken down on my page was there was a video of an armored vehicle running over people in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Unarmed protesters in Venezuela. And, I just, for illustrated purposes and as a historical lesson, I posted some imagery of a manual that I have that shows some methods to deal with an armored vehicle, from the Second World War all the way up to, modern times, just for history, historical purposes.
Yeah.
And it got taken down immediately.
No love, man.
I got a warning, but the beautiful thing is that I have my own website, so it's up there. The whole manual's up there for free. So I even got a shout out from one of the resistance groups out in Venezuela.
Heck yeah.
That's I'm fine as long as people are putting it to good use, and I'm fine.
Yeah, man, that's meaningful. I'm sure they appreciated that trash. I'm sure they appreciated it. Heck yeah. That's what's up. So EDC, man, break into it. Considerations. Why do you carry what you carry, when you carry, how you carry, bro?
One of the things that I always tell people is that there are certain things that you can carry anywhere in the world, but these are becoming less and less permitted. Everybody says, "Oh, I carry a knife. I carry my EDC, 19 or whatever." You could carry a lot of things in a lot of places, but things are becoming less and less permissive. Mm-hmm. Personally, I travel around a lot, and every now and then I wake up and I try and kind of figure out where I am, since every kind of week I'm in a different part of the country or the world. Main thing I tell people is, if it's hard for you to improvise this object, probably carry it with you, right? So, and what I mean by that is there are certain things that are very essential to anybody, especially if they're moving around in a place that's kind of violent. Specifically, medical equipment or emergency medical management type material is one I always kind of tell people to kind of really consider. There are people that invest, thousands and thousands of dollars in pocket knives and guns and stuff like that, and you ask them for the tourniquet, and there's nothing there. I've used most of the emergency medical management materials that I have more so on more occasions than anything else. So we'll start off with that, right? there's a few things that I always carry with me, and I've carried through international ports of entry. I've carried on a plane. And when you say EDC, I think this backpack and the stuff that I have on me constantly should kind of fall in the realm of this.
Mm-hmm.
This backpack, you see how thin it is. I have a few tricks to it. So it has a few tricks to it, but it's basically a backpack that I go in and out of planes with. Right, go in a plane, put it, store it in the back underneath the seat. It's always with me. Go in an Uber, drive, just have it between my legs.
Is this a specific type of backpack? Because it looks ninja.
It's an Eagle Industries E&E bag, right?
Okay, there it is. Boom.
It's boom. People tell me, well, that's too specific. It's too tactical looking. Never got two looks myself off it. I had one way back when and lost it. Always carry your backpack between your legs when you're driving around in a bad place. That's all I'm going to say about the way I lost it.
Okay.
But one thing I liked about these is the big ass handle, so you can grab it and run with it. It's thin, so if you need to store it somewhere in between your legs or underneath a chair on a plane, if you fly around in a small plane, like I did a lot of that when I was doing executive protection, it's just a good all around little small bag. And I have some angel armor in there in the back part of it. Why?
You rather have, I hate to say it, but you'd rather have it and not need it. You know what I'm saying?
It's one of those things where so you carry this angel armor in your backpack. Are you really going to have it when you need it? Well, drive around. Usually when I saw people get shot inside or around vehicles, usually the leg shots are what kills people. So guess where this bag goes when I'm in a car? Right next to my legs, facing outward. Will it be enough? Hopefully I will never find out, but it's one of those things.
Yeah. What are the two dots on the outside of the bag?
People want to get really, really ninja with their bags. I don't want to get run over. So they're basically two reflectors and they also glow in the dark, right?
Tactical reflectors right there, son. That's what's up.
Dude, you could be a ninja, walk around wearing all black, and you'll get run the fuck over. Right? So,
my man, that's what's up. I like it.
A small bag. So I think it's essential, is key. And also have the discipline to always have it with you. People call them go bags, call them whatever they want, it's just all names. I just like having a bag with me. And another thing that I have with me all the time that people kind of don't pay a lot of attention to is the ability to expand the capabilities of this bag. So something to take out, right?
Yeah.
Usually a mesh bag or a laundry bag, something like that. Site exploitation bags is something that we learned about from the gringos that came down to Mexico and kind of showed us. So we would always carry things to expand our carry capabilities. It could be clothes that got messed up. It could be something you find, whatever. So it's a good idea to always carry something to expand your abilities to carry something. Yeah. Why was I talking about the backpack? It's because this is a full-on trauma kit, dated, sealed, has a little tearaway there to rip it off. This is not something you can carry in your pocket. It's something you realistically carry in your bag usually, and I always carry it with me in my bag. But on my person, it's usually very flat. Carry tourniquet, a hemostatic agent, Israeli bandage, and just gloves, and all of it kind of sealed tightly together. And it's usually somewhere inside of my waistband, actually. Specifically the tourniquet. I actually carry a tourniquet expanded underneath my waistband on my left pant leg. And I carry it that way because it's an easy way to carry it. It doesn't take up a lot of space. You use the windlass to get it stuck on the top side of it, and it's a good way to carry a tourniquet. And guess when you need it, you just pull it out. It's already expanded. Right?
So the tourniquets expand. Is it like going down your pant leg?
Down the pant leg on the left side, you can carry a full tourniquet just expanded, and that's something I learned again. I wish I could tell you I came up with that stuff, but that was all stuff that I learned from the gringos that came down and trained us to carry things discreetly.
Nice.
You can't carry it on your belt and stuff like that. People ask me like, well, why did you just carry it on your belt?
Yes,
yeah. I mean, there's some places where a tourniquet itself will get you into trouble.
Yeah, they'll be like, what do you have a tourniquet on you for? You got exposure now. Now you got to come up with an alibi, or, or you're just, now they know you're on the board somewhere. You're a piece on the board now. Great.
Any attention is bad attention. And a quick story. And, it's very controversial, rat tourniquets. I'm not a medical professional. Rat tourniquets are used by some people. Some people swear by them. Some people don't. I personally will leave that to medical professionals. I don't carry one of those, not because of anything, just because I've learned on something else.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody somewhere, one of my students was carrying one of those tourniquets around somewhere in Southeast Asia, and he was held for about 3 hours, and he couldn't figure out why he was held. Turns out it was because that they thought the rat tourniquet was drug paraphernalia.
Wow.
for shooting up, right? So they were like looking through his stuff to find the heroin that he was probably carrying. So it's one of those things where, if you really have to think about what you carry, where you carry it, and how you justify what you're carrying, right? Because some of these things can actually do you more harm than good. Medical management material, something I always have with me. Duct tape is everywhere, Duct tape is one of those things that I've used a lot. So it's usually in my backpack. It's in my pockets. I always kind of carry around these little rolls with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like credit cards, I like carrying around just in these little small rolls.
Yeah.
If you want to make your own little roll, just get a small dowel or stick and just roll this thing on there. And if you want to get it a little bit malleable, just use a lighter. So these are usually everywhere on the stuff that I carry. Better than nothing as far as a chest seal or something like that. You can improvise something pretty cool with it.
Heck yeah.
You can also use it to cover the lenses of cameras that you don't want to, for some reason. I don't know. Duct tape is just a good thing to have for a lot of reasons.
If you can't fix it or do something, right? If you can't fix it or do something else with it, like duct tape is like your first go-to when it comes to like fix it or improvising. It's like improvising. I got duct tape, I got 550 cord, we're halfway there.
It's one of those things where like, again, if you can improvise it, if you can't improvise it or it's hard to improvise, probably a good idea to carry it with you, right? So cordage, adhesive tape, medical management materials there are ways of being austere medical and make things out of different things out there. But if it's one of those things where you don't want to struggle with trying to improvise a chest seal when you need it, right? So pretty good idea to have things kind of at the ready. Or a tourniquet is one of those other things that's kind of hard to improvise. There's ways, but rather have ready-made one, psychology of color plays into it. A lot of people want to go black with their stuff. I want to have some black, tactical gloves for, medical management. So you all see these guys with the latex, the black latex gloves on their kits. The problem with those is if you've ever had to deal with anybody in the middle of the night and are trying to do a blood sweep or do a blood sweep on yourself. Yeah. And you won't see the blood show up in your black gloves, right? So, I personally like blue. You can have whatever you want, but just, personally, that's what I like. So
considerations from the field,
it's one of those things where they look cool, man. I like them too, man. But it's if I'm not a tattoo artist or I'm not stabbing a pig and somebody's taking pictures of it, probably stick to something blue,
Yeah, I dig that 100%, man. I got black gloves to match everything else. I got to switch my kit up now.
I probably need to get some, tanned ones on me, man.
There you go.
Light brown.
That's what's up.
So medical gear is one of those things where, and again, if you're going to carry something, know how to use it and train yourself, train with people on how to use it. I'm not the one to see. There's a shit ton of people out there that I would advise to train with. But if you're carrying medical equipment without training, you're carrying around a talisman. That's what it is. You're carrying around a candle basically, and you're going to light it, see if it works. I don't know. I've never tried it.
Yeah, you're carrying around a feel good, man.
Yeah. People come to some of the training we do. We have a cross trained 18 Delta guy that in a current trauma doc that does the medical classes with us, and basically I just fuck around with people in these classes as far as creating chaotic situations where they need to apply some of the tools and the skills. And you will see these guys fail a lot with the way they carry things. And, some people are wearing around medical ankle rigs with a lot of their stuff, and they get pulled off, or they fall off when you run and when you have to jump over stuff, or they don't take the time to put on the gloves if they're dealing with somebody that they don't really know. It's one of the things that you never think about until you're in a training situation. Doc, Voodoo Doc, our medical guy is always, so is this your family member? And says, no. Okay. So raise his shirt up, right? And he raises his shirt up and it says, "Welcome to the world of AIDS," right? And this guy just got dealing with a wound on him, training wise, without any gloves. And, it's stuff like that you don't really think about it until you do. And, sometimes that's like,
yeah, right. And that's a good consideration, man. Any other faithful, don't leave home without it items?
Good quality multi-tool is probably essential.
Just sitting here taking with mine 10 minutes ago.
And I wish I could tell you that I bought this one, but I actually stole it off somebody, a highly trained individual from your Department of the Navy, and I pocketed this one. It's
he's gonna be watching this episode like that, mother.
I know. It's fine.
Dark, black, and brown stealing our stuff. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's not PC.
No, it's fine. He steals stuff from me all the time. So we're good. Just a multi-tool. People asked me why do you like this one?
Yeah.
Well, it's just the EOD, and it comes with this thing, and people think, I like it because it's a shank. It's actually very handy. It's a very handy tool to have
for punching
for a lot of reasons, from disruptive to constructive reasons why to have something like that on there. It's just a good little thing to have with you. It's one of those things where I've yet to see somebody improvise a multi-tool out of garbage. Not yet. No MacGyver I've ever been improvised a multi-tool yet. But it's one of those things where I always carry with me. If I have to pick between this and a pocket knife or a fixed blade of some sort, I'm gonna bring this with me probably.
It's nice and loosened up too. You can tell you've been running around doing trash with it.
From things to use it for that people don't think about. Fixing things around you. If you are in the executive protection field, having the right tool at the right time in front of a principal and fixing something in front of him it's pure gold.
It's just godlike.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, this is broken. Just take out your multi-tool, fix it, and eternally, then you don't even say it, walk away. Yeah. Don't drop it. Don't drop it like a mic. Just
Oh man.
But just having the ability to have a tool with you that you can use to fix, bind, cut wire, poke holes in places where holes shouldn't be. Weird things I've done with this as far as executive protection goes. Open up fencing in places where the fence shouldn't be opened, to make our real VIP entrance for our.
But they need to be open, right?
It's like you look around and like, where's the VIP entrance? Oh, well, the way over there. No, it's right here. There you go, right?
Yeah.
Improvise. If where there's a will, there's a way. And again, you look godlike when you apply something as simple as just carrying a multi-tool with you. Can it be weaponized? Of course, it can be weaponized. It's just something, things that I like on these is a saw, a file to modify and make things. And the pliers and wire cutters on these are just, the key. If you're going to carry something like this, this is pretty good. Leatherman waves are cool. There's all sorts of types and kinds. Specifically, I really like this one myself. One thing I'll share about this guy is I actually carry it around inside my pocket, inside of a small sheath, nylon, just to keep the noise levels down because it does rattle around a bit. Noise discipline being what it is, I know sometimes I'm moving around there quietly. So if you want to keep noise levels down, keep that rattling down. Something they can bind onto it. Leather is pretty good at leather and suede is pretty good at keeping noise levels down. So,
and like someone might not know that specific sound, but you might pique someone's interest. Like, what's this guy got in his pocket? That's all you need for this ball of yarn to start coming apart.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's something I say also with things like leg or ankle rigs for medical and management equipment. It's medical management, but people out there might think you're pulling out a gun from your ankle, right?
Yeah.
So just realize every time you take something out, people could think it's a magazine, a gun.
Yeah.
So just look around before you take anything out of your pockets. That's probably a good idea.
Heck yeah, absolutely. Do you have any venue specific gear that you take, like things that you specifically take when you travel or when you specifically go on types of things?
One of those things that I don't have it with me, it's already packed in my little the stuff I document underneath the plane. But a headlamps or the ability to clip onto something to your hat and have your hands free to work is probably for everything.
Right.
From moving around to having to fix something, to having to seal something, to having to open something medical. Headlamp is pretty good. I carry just a regular headlamp. It has a red, green, and white light on it, and IR light. I've never used IR because I don't have that. I'm not that cool. But just having a good headlamp with you, that's something that's universal thing. Always have that thing with me. When I'm working, it's one of those things that I have to have with me. You roll it up with your medical gear and just tight with some rubber bands and just put it in your pocket. It's one of those things I always have with me.
I have for sure learned that lesson. I got that in the car. Go ahead.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that, again, hard to improvise. It's hard to improvise a light source. You can turn on a lighter, you can, turn on some candles and whatever, but it's a good solid light. It's pretty hard.
Yeah. Cell phone sucks. Only civilians think your cell phone's a good enough light source, I think. And when you need to have your hands free, it's probably got its applications, but when you need to have your hands free and light, ain't nothing better than being able to either clip your light on your hat or have an actual headlamp, man.
Yeah. I'll take some pictures of my headlamp, and they actually sell some clips that are two-way capable, so you can slip them onto your baseball cap, and it's just a good thing to have, just something you can clip on and use if you don't have any hands.
Yeah, my Surefire has that double clip, that double-sided deal.
Yeah,
I throw it up there when I need to.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where people, they don't kind of think about it. I know, and it's something I do every now and then. You have one of these pinch lights. You can pinch it on. See that little light? That's actually, you can look at weird stains on some beds with this guy. So, if for some reason you need something like that, You can put a zip tie on it to keep it on continuously, and duct tape it to a pen and put it on your ear, and that's a good light source for a while. It's pretty easy to carry, and it's small, and it's one of those things that I have with me. I have it on my keys usually, or have it in the wallet. Just having the ability to create some light is always a good deal to have with you. Another little light source thing that I always have with me is one of these. That's a small chem light. They use them for fishing equipment.
Yo, this is that Mexican MacGyver stuff I'll be talking about right here. That's what's up.
Yeah, these little guys, Walmart fishing aisle. They use them to mark. If you're gonna go fishing, they use them to mark the lures when you're doing some nighttime fishing.
Okay.
That's a brand. It's Rod and Bobber Beacon. That's what it is, right? Okay. And I mention it because I've actually done testing with all these old chem lights. These are made in China, where they don't have any considerations for the environment. Yeah. So they're 72 hours will remain active, right? So they're probably highly toxic, so don't swallow them. Yeah. But it's a good last ditch. Don't have anything else. They last a long time. Little chem light solution to have with you. Yeah. Uses, tie it to a rock and a string. You can use it to signal, create a no donut to signal.
Yeah.
Mark VIPs back with this. If you're moving in some sort of dark place that doesn't have a lot of visibility, break one of these open, stick it to a VIP's back so you can kind of, be aware of where he is without him being aware of it.
Yeah.
I've used some of these for that. If you're tying somebody up, you use some of these to put on his bondage elements or on his cuffs to mark them as well. So if he makes a run for it, you can see him in the dark. There's a lot of little use for this. It's one of those things like light source, headlamp, little pinch light, and finally just a chem light, small little chem light. These last, I think I've carried some for like 2 years and activate them when I need to, and they're pretty good to go. Right? They're pretty bright. Okay. So, yeah, that's another thing I always carry with me. MacGyver, it's functional, and again, it's one of those things where if you have a light source with you, and if you can impress a VIP, that's pretty good.
That's ninja.
That's ninja. Yeah, it's a ninja right there.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So medical, light, of course, the end all do all of lights is a good lighter. And again, if you're gonna have anything, this one has some Gorilla Tape on it, but whatever, Specifically, I like carrying a lighter that is disposable, functional, and specifically one of these that have the selector on them. Mm-hmm. If you want to come up with a quick flamethrower, it already has the duct tape on it, so you just duct tape this onto a can of Axe body spray, lubricant, any oil will do, and you have your little flamethrower. For whatever reason you might need a flamethrower, you have it. Also just fire. This you need to have a way to start a fire. Turn on somebody's cigarette. Do something like that. You need to have one of these. It's just essential. It's essential.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. Any pieces of gear that have failed you or that you specifically don't carry for any reason?
A few guns.
Right?
Yeah. A few guns that failed me. It's one of those things where there's a lot of moving parts in it. So Beretta 92 FS,
it failed you.
Yeah. Anything Beretta. I've had shitty luck with anything Beretta.
Yeah.
Another thing that I've carried that's failed me a few times are some of those emergency shears. I used to just carry any emergency shears that I could find. Never paid too much attention to them. until, I needed some and actually broke the handles off them because they're pretty cheap Chinese made ones.
Yeah.
So if you're going to buy some to carry with you, probably invest in some quality ones.
Yeah.
So some surgical shears of whatever kind you want. Those are things that have failed me a few times. Belts. There's a lot of people wearing some of these all synthetic belts from a certain company out there. And the belt buckles, those plastic belt buckles will and do fail after a while, and they will snap. Depending on your body type, not having a belt is pretty shitty.
Yeah, man.
I used to laugh at people wearing Cobra belts. I thought they were, it's overkill. But, now I have one myself. So,
what type of covert belt, if you don't mind me asking? Or
sure.
covert belt considerations?
This is a good guy. These are pretty rare, but they are out there. It's basically a money belt. This one is made by a company called Fortac 5.
Okay.
Out of the UK.
Yeah.
It's basically a full-on money belt.
Money belt meaning you can put money in it?
It's a long belt where you can carry pretty much whatever you want in there. In $100 bills, you can carry about $2,000 in here. So you can carry $2,000 in your belt if you, for some reason, you might want to. It's not magnetic, and it comes with this cool little belt hook on it.
Yeah.
And it's actually, this belt hook is actually a belt knife, right? So it's a rescue hook, or you can use it to cut restraints off. You can cut some zip ties off with this guy.
Maybe
or clothing on. You could cut a seatbelt with this, and I've actually done so. This is these are pretty rare, but they are out there. The maker makes these every now and then. A bunch of people are bootlegging his idea, but this guy, did the first ones. He sent me this one. I've been carrying this guy a lot. I've used it in medical classes to buddy drag people, so it's pretty sturdy. Good thing to have. And then, every now and then, depending on where I am, this might catch up too much attention. So I might switch into a leather belt. So depending on where I am, I switch it up. Another cool belt that I have and carry around a lot with me, and this one gets a lot of eyes. It's this Tijuana wallet belt.
Tijuana wallet belt.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see the zipper in there.
Yeah, okay. That's dingy.
I've carried a belt like this since I was probably 15 when I started illegally going into these bars and drinking underage.
Yeah.
You would carry the money that you would pay off the cops that would grab you outside in this belt. So this is that's what the original purpose for these belts was. You would carry the bribery money in here. Right?
That's awesome. It's
And it's leather. It's kind of innocuous. And another little ninja think. Blackside Customs make these, owned by a company owned by a very good friend of mine, Hank Greenberg. It's heavy duty copper belt. They're custom. They hurt a lot when they get hit with these. And he has these that come with this. I don't know if you can see it on the edge of there. It's basically a small magnetized handcuff key.
Oh, that's what's up. There it is. And it stays in there, doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's right there, right?
Nice.
This is one of those, if I don't have this on, I usually have this guy on. So, I always I'm always trying to carry around options with me, right? And I figured, if Batman has a utility belt, I should have something like that.
Man, I'm slipping in the belt department, bro. I got to get with the program.
Keep it simple, man.
Right. No, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. And if you notice, I put a lot of emphasis in having ways to carry around money. Money is probably the best EDC item on the planet. Cash. That's the best multi-tool I've ever seen in my life. So that's why those are kind of have that, purpose to move around things that I might need to.
That's
Cash one.
That's like the best EDC advice right there. Keep cash on you.
Always.
It's very few. King Solomon says money answers everything in Ecclesiastes. It's some real stuff.
Yeah, read that Bible, man. There's just some truth in there. But the amount of people that travel now and use a debit card or credit card and stuff like that, it's fine. People are trying to avoid getting robbed and stuff like that. But usually, if you're going to have some sort of cash on you when you travel, cash is king in a lot of places still. And just knowing the difference between the dollar and the local currency, and how some places the local currency is actually not won't open doors, but if you show them a dollar,
boom,
it'll open doors. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that. That's a good kind of a thing to think about before you travel, and just just realize that the dollar is still, thankfully, an internationally recognized form of currency, where all other currencies are kind of measured at. I have people asking me about gold or carrying around silver. It's kind of hard to walk around out there in the world and find somebody carrying around their little, monocle to kind of look at your gold if it's real, and it's just not realistic. There's ways of carrying around currency that are kind of ninja, and I'll show you one. So I'm not going to show you all my tricks.
Good to go.
Yeah. Well, this is not even mine, but I think I've not seen a lot of people talk about these used in this way. These little guys, these black spots, are RFID chips, right? Yeah. Basically, chips that you can encode a number in, and you'll put an app on your phone, and when you scan it, it'll tell you what number is in this chip. You can actually put you can encrypt these. Basically, it's a way for you to store numbers on something that people can't read without a passcode. They don't have a charge to them. They're just, chips. Wow. Easy to hide. Yeah, easy to hide. You can put money in these in the form of prepaid phone cards. Right? Wow. So you buy a few prepaid phone cards and you put the numbers of them in here. And in some parts of the world, especially the bad ones, some prisons and some other places out there, you can actually pay for things with prepaid phone cards. Then they don't want any currency being moved in some environments. So you basically give them a number, they confirm the number, and you can pay for things in that way. So there's a few places that I travel to where that's the case. And these have come in handy as far as getting searched, going into these places, not having money on me, but I have, money on me. You can do them in chips, you can do them in paper. But, it gets kind of tricky when you do it in paper because like somebody finds a sequence of numbers that's really, really similar to a prepaid phone card. Questions will be asked. There's a lot of that as far as, moving currency around and having ways of payment with you. And, every now and then I tell people one of the things I do carry every now and then, it's help me out every now and then. And it's a simple one time, I need this, I need that, I need your jacket, I need gas, whatever. And a little guy, it's about $90 worth of gold right there.
Wow.
80, $90 worth of gold. And, it's a little small gold peso. I have a few of these and I've used them a few times. And it's not, it's not the end all do all things, but it's maybe a good idea to carry something like that. You can carry around wealth in that regard. And they're pretty, somebody knows what he's looking at. I always tell people, if you're going to go this route, try and look for gold on the person you're going to try and pawn this off on, because he's going to know what gold is. it's one of those things.
For it.
Yeah, it's emergency last ditch type thing, just like that Chem Light. If you notice, most of the stuff that I carry comes in 3s.
Yeah, 3 different types. That's the way I like to roll with 3s too, man. That's what's up.
Yeah. I have a friend that does Japanese martial arts, traditional stuff, high level guy, and he does everything in 3s because he's superstitious about the 2. He says 2 is a number of death. 3.
Yeah, solid number, sturdy number. Heck yeah. And then 2 is 1 is none. So 3, you got something. You and a principal.
Yeah. Primary, secondary, and oh shit. That's
that's the game. Any other clothing considerations?
Something I carry in my bag. This is a full change of clothing right here.
That's ninja. See, that's good stuff. I'm glad I asked this. Well, I could do that, man. I could throw something like that in the car, have a couple of those.
Yeah,
stuff's rolled up, but I don't got.
It's a pair of pants, a t-shirt, underwear, a merino wool layer, and the compression of the socks just makes everything packable, right? Mm-hmm. Football length. Also a good pillow if you want to sleep on the ground somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty good. Depending on what you're doing and if you're doing some sort of surveillance work outside of your, functions, quick change of appearance, quick change of clothes, not uncommon for me to have a Hawaiian shirt in here or something, or a sports jersey of a very specific kind, region specific, right? So, this something I learned from Ernesto. Ernesto's my business partner from Mexico. He's a former Cuban SF guy, military guy, and he's he knows weird shit like this, and he taught me about these footballs. Quick change, and you never know when you're gonna just need a change.
Yeah.
You might get some of that Revenge of Moctezuma, and you need to change pants or something.
Yeah, man. Or something happens, and you want to get out of your clothes. You're trying to clear your mind and trash. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been with a few VIPs that had issues with their clothing happen, and I have something for them.
Yeah.
Emergency wise, whatever.
You got anything on communication consideration?
Yes, and I don't have my Twinkie phone here, but basically I always have phones out the wazoo with me.
Yes.
And when I say the Twinkie phones, basically any old school Nokia phone, analog phone that will turn on and go from off to on immediately, just really fast, is a good thing to carry with you. Most places you travel that I've traveled to, usually the emergency service is open. Doesn't matter if it doesn't have a chip in there. So just a good all-around emergency tool to have with you. Considerations that I have for them, I always carry them in waterproof bags like this guy. Anything that I can carry these in waterproof bags. Every time I'm going to travel, I put the charger on just to make sure they are charged. If you travel in the U.S. a lot, you'll see a company called, I think I have one here. Forgive me, I'm packing, so there's a lot of shit around here. These guys.
Fuel rod?
Yeah. You can exchange them at the airport from new to old in the U.S. And these are something that I always have paired with these. It's something if an emergency happens, I have a fuel rod and I have my phone, and I can do a lot of things with my phone if I need to.
So the fuel rod's a power source.
Exactly. Now, if you want to talk about being a ninja, track phones, burner phones, and all this type of stuff, that's all cool to talk about. And most people that talk about that usually are most people that actually apply some of this stuff are usually criminals. Mm-hmm. And that's cool how I kind of learned some of this stuff about.
Yeah.
Basically, any phone you're going to use or anything you're going to use of that nature, always have it completely unattached to you electronically. So don't pay for it with a credit card, debit card, nothing attached to you as far as the phone goes. I like procuring my phones in Mexico under Telcel. And usually when you procure your phones under Telcel, they come with, they have some agreements with American cell phone providers, so you can use them in the U.S. as well. And you can buy them. You can buy the chip anywhere, and you can pay for it online using prepaid debit cards. So it's
degrees of separation.
Yeah, pretty ninja-ish. And sometimes when you call people, it comes up as a private number without having to do anything ninja to it because it's an international phone number, or it does weird shit depending on the line. Sometimes it comes as a phone call from Thailand or something like that. So they're pretty interesting. So when you travel and you see anywhere where they sell these, track phones, basically, don't think about it twice and get one. Right? If you want to be really ninja-ish about it, get somebody else to buy it for you, which is something I do every now and then, And for no other reason, it's just a layer of security for yourself. And if you're traveling with a client or you're working with a client, you never know the amount of attention that client might have on them. And if somebody does, listen in on things, let it be his phone, not yours. You don't be that weak link. So just make yourself a little bit harder to kind of target. And communications. Main thing is to always have people. It's just essential now. If you're traveling around and you don't have at least a few of these batteries on you, fully charged batteries, I usually carry them. Yeah.
Freaking wrong.
And I have a solar panel attached to my carry rig as well. And if you don't have a method of just juicing up, I mean, that again, if you want to talk about looking good in front of a client, just spread a solar panel and just charge up his fucking phone. He'll kind of consider that raise, And always have a spare fuel rod, just juice box, just external charger. And it's more often than not, people will run out of batteries, especially high level VIP executive guys that are moving around a lot.
Yep,
they're on red. You can have one of those for them, and just for yourself, man.
Heck yeah, and the wires too. Do you have a certain solar power setup that works, or that you've tested actually? Because I'm trying to get something. I haven't messed with that yet.
I can't remember for the life of me the name of it, but it's a small little rollable one. They're getting pretty small. They're getting pretty flexible. I'll post it up. I'm just writing some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you guys afterwards. I'll post up the one I have that's pretty small. I actually have the bag where I carry it, and it's about that small.
Wow.
You take it, you roll it, and you use it. You get some rechargeable AA batteries in it, and you can have your solar panel completely independent of your fuel deposit. So you have, if one of them both breaks, you can kind of skirt your way around it.
Okay.
There's a few considerations to it. I like another thing I like carrying a lot, and something I have over here, bank bag. This is lined with Faraday cage material. Basically, if I put a cell phone in here, it won't. There's no way you can contact it.
Like a blackout bag.
It's a bank bag, blackout bag. Basically, a Faraday. This one is Faraday cage capable, so you can put a cell phone in there, and it won't produce any signals. Why would you carry around something like this? If you're a police officer and you arrest somebody, high risk guy or something, you can put their stuff in this bag without damaging their equipment in any way, shape, or form, and you don't have to worry about people being tracked or anything like that. If your VIP client is meeting with somebody and you don't want any phones around, you can deposit it in here, and it's a true way of blocking out their service. It's just a handy thing to have. And if you're worried about any sort of electronic equipment you have, phone-wise, just put it in here, If you're worried about for whatever, Big Brother, some people are paranoid. I am, just you can put that thing in there, if you're working investigations, stuff like that. It's just a way to grab and site exploitation type thing. So that's where I learned it from, and it's a good idea to have something like that on you.
Okay, good to go. Well, any other considerations or mindset pieces or anything?
I have a lot of weird stuff here that I don't see people talk about.
Yeah.
But simple notebook and pen. People still to this day kind of miss the whole being able to write things down. And if it's peculiar, just write it down. Paper is pretty good, and always have always make turn it into a discipline. If you write it down here at the end of the day, when you do your,
after action debrief,
put this into an electrical format and put it into observations for the day. Just have all your guys do the same. Be it whatever you're doing, it's a good practice. We've went back to a few of those when I was working, and they would always be gold. If you have them anything out of place, that's pretty good to have on you. Another thing that people don't consider, camera, just a good small digital camera of any kind to have with you. It's one of those things where people don't think about it. They want to have all the guns in the world and all the magazines and all the cool shit, but just a camera itself can be a weapon. Way to document things. You leave your car in a certain place and you don't have the ability to set up guard on your car, or you leave your luggage in the room in a certain place. Take a picture of it to see everything is in the right place where you left it. That type of thing. You see, every now and then
with a camera.
Every now and then, just turn around and take a picture of the cars that are behind you if you're moving around a VIP. Every now and then, and just see similar vehicles. Take pictures of in intervals of 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, during your movements, and see if there's anything peculiar. Take a few pictures of the stuff that is behind you. You'd be surprised. So every now and then you'll see something pretty similar in a few picture sets of a transport. And it's again, document everything. Have a file, something you guys can all see, and it's a good after action type thing to keep on you. Camera phones are also pretty good, but I'd rather have something independent from my phone to take pictures with. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. It keeps you, focused on the fact that this is a camera to take pictures. And if you take out your phone, you can run into some shit as well. You don't want to get to the traffic stop for using your camera phone to take pictures of shit and getting stopped. I've actually taken pictures of things as I drove with a camera, with an actual camera, and people will kind of scratch their heads. Is this permitted? Is not permitted? It's not a regular thing. So,
yeah. Okay. Cool, brother.
Another consideration.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna get weird. A few weird things.
That's what's up.
GoPros.
Love GoPros.
GoPros. Attach one to the back end of your car, inside of your car, looking back, and inside your car, looking front. If you're in a place where you have a lot of risk as far as being, harassed or shit like that, at checkpoints, people trying to bribe you, having some of these inside of your car active will make people really polite. Usually,
no, it's the truth, man.
People will change.
Yeah, once they know they're on camera, you're making them famous. They act different. I use it all the time. When I remember my exposed format, I got a camera on my gear, and it's just like
awesome.
Second that red light starts, sirs and man, they just don't act the same, and they can't accuse me of things I didn't do. Yeah,
and there's some software out there that I'm not going to go into because I use a very specific one and I don't want people to know about it. But you can basically, cloud upload everything you're doing live into a cloud, and people can, look at it if you get, for some reason, take it for a ride or something,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. other than that, weird things that I have, this a small extra set of discrete plate armor for myself or for somebody else if they need it. It's one of those things. You can have the coolest gear on the planet, but if you can't extend that gear to other people around you, especially a client, kind of think about that.
Yeah.
Keys to the city.
Keys to the city, man.
Keys to the city. And, it's one of those things where, all's fair in love and war. And when you talk about sometimes for some reason, you have a VIP and needs to be somewhere, needs to have something secure. This is a
not bad to have in the vehicle.
Yeah, something that gets ignored or doesn't get touched upon. I have a whole training segment on hobo breaching type things. We're not gonna go high speed and frame charge shit. This is a garbage breaching stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. These are cool. I'm almost done. Tree felling wedges to secure doors and jam doors.
Hotel rooms, all kinds of stuff, man.
All kinds of stuff. These are paired with some zip ties, so you can zip tie doors closed, stuff like that. Be aware of fire code and everything you want, but every now and then you're in places where you need to, shut an exit off.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have a lot of people, you can fortify a position for yourselves. Nylon webbing, again, for the upper arms on an industrial door. You can attach some of this stuff on there, or a zip tie. Go old school with it. Old school bug detecting devices. Interesting thing about these, the old, very old school. I mean, this thing is from the 90s, I think. Why am I carrying around this little old school thing? The more the technology advances and the more digital things become, the more people the more people come back to low tech approaches for certain things. So I've seen high level guys be gotten by analog level shit. Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So
Good to know.
Just for no other reason, anything this is made to detect anything that's producing any sort of signal. So good to go. And finally, there's a little transparent possibles bag. When I say possibles, anything from diarrhea, headaches, condoms.
Yeah.
Anything that is pharmacy level. I'd rather not go to the pharmacy. I have everything here. And this is just, any super glue, gum, the Kleenex, shower in your backpack, wipies, trash bag. If you want to cover a whole toilet because the toilet's just horrible, there's no other toilet there. Cover the whole toilet and just cut an X pattern on it. Then take a shit there. VIP treatment all the way.
Right.
It's there's a lot of things like that I that just come from experience.
Yeah.
Sports smoke grenades. Why? You never know. They're orange. I like orange a lot. They're very thick smoke. Why would you use these? Who knows? It's just things that are fun to carry with you.
I got some airsoft smoke, man, that I have in my kit because at one of the sites, it's like, if they set up over there, it's not a bad spot, and I might need a curtain, man. You know what I'm saying?
If you've never had the need to cover movement from one point of cover to the other with smoke, you need to get out.
Yeah, and there ain't nothing like needing it and not having it. That's kind of really it's like, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I wish I could go through my whole loadout, but it's a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's main thing I always tell people is to carry specific to where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
people say, well, if somebody comes after me with a knife, I'll shoot them. When you say that, you're saying that in your backyard, but you might not be in your backyard.
That's true.
All right. So always realize that you can't dictate what you carry to the environment. The environment will dictate what you need to carry in it. I'm a desert rat, and I go out to places that are not the desert, and I have to adapt myself to that environment. Very wet places, you have to keep that fucking wet rot off, and you need to carry things for that. Warm places, hot places, you have to have certain considerations for that as well. Just carry specific to where you're going to travel to. That's the main, kind of lesson there. Realize that every one of these places has its own considerations, and usually you'll get, what these are if you're active and you have people in those environments that you can talk to. Like, hey, can I drink the water there? No. Probably a good idea to carry some sort of anti-diarrhea, antibiotics, and full spectrum antibiotics with me into that area of operations, and maybe not drink anything that I don't open at the table. Yeah, mental out.
Solid, man. Well, that's awesome, man. That's a bunch of stuff to download. That's good trash, man. I appreciate you always spending this time with us, man. Heck yeah. So I'm chatting. You got anything else? What's up?
No, and I have more, but fuck you guys.
That's what's up. You can't give them everything. You know what I mean?
No, it's people ask me like, so like those money belts, those are retired. People think I carry those. It's fine. Main thing is always always keep evolving, always keep changing, and don't be predictable. Yeah. Don't advertise your shit online. Every now and then I see people posting their their loadouts, and I'm like,
the spooky guys are like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, you never know who's watching. Just keep that shit to yourself.
No, I mean, with our other episode, you were saying, like, I was like, what's the number one way that they choose victims for, abductions and stuff? You're like, social media. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Easiest way.
It's always good spending time with you, my man. I appreciate it. Good to go. This is a good episode. I'm looking forward to doing this, man. And I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with you here in the future, brother, for sure.
I'm down.
Heck yeah, brother. All right. We'll talk again soon, man.
Definitely.
Sounds good. Thanks again, Ed. And if you haven't already, get your tickets for the Protector Symposium. The first annual Protector Symposium is taking place in Riverside, California, November 15th and 16th. We've got an all-star lineup of seriously elite trainers. Yosef Badu, Ed Caldrone, and Mike Pannone are all going to be there teaching and instructing us on, well, our common goal, how to make good people more dangerous. So no matter what your background is, you're going to learn skills around the one unifying principle of protection. Get your tickets. Spots are going quickly. And remember, you're going to get over $100 worth of value back in different things that you're going to get from our sponsors with your purchase of a ticket. Check the website out, Byron Rogers Motivation, for ticket information and to learn more. Out. Boom. And to support this podcast, go to executiveprotectionlifestyle.com and contribute to our Patreon account. That Patreon account is what helps me make this podcast possible, contributing to this brand, what we're doing here, making it so that I can bring better guests on, making it so that we can plan more events and just expand the contribution to the private security industry, and also to making America a safer place by teaching people how to protect themselves and the mindset behind that, the lifestyle behind that. You guys are already killing it. $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever you can do that you know you would probably just lose in the mattress anyway or spend on McDonald's. Hey, you want to put it towards something that's going to good use, put it towards a podcast, and get involved in our Patreon account at executiveprotectionlifestyle.com. And if you want to find me, that's ByronRogersMotivation.com. Do whatever you can, contribute whatever you can to that Patreon account, because it makes all of these things possible, ladies and gentlemen. So much love. thank you, and thank you for making those contributions. You guys rock. We're already doing amazing there, and it's just because of you guys. So thanks once again for those contributions. Boom. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Executive Protection Lifestyle Podcast. This whole entire thing actually just started off as a Facebook group that blew up and is one of the fastest growing, if not the fastest growing, executive protection Facebook group online. So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, join the Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram and check us out at executiveprotectionlifestyle.com. If you want to find me, that's ByronRogersMotivation.com, and I'm on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook as well. So until the next podcast, y'all, stay sharp out there. And as I say it, one mind, many weapons. Talk soon. Out.